Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to have a look at a puzzle by Zetamath and friends called Mosaic. We just had a recommendation actually from Zetamath to take a look at this one. I think it was yesterday evening, so I am very happy to do so. And Zetamath's puzzles are just a joy to me. I don't know how many I've done over the years. Actually, that's a good question. I should have checked. I'm going to guess it might be like 40 or something over the years. It could be, and they're always delightful. They normally have a Z in them, which there's no Z in this. Is there a Z? Don't think there is. I'm trying to see the white spaces, whether there's a Z in the white spaces. I don't think so. But anyway, this has got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty. Apparently it's lovely. And I quite like Zeta's new colourblind friendly labelling of lines. You can see it's really good, isn't it? So you know immediately that's a 10 line. This must be a parity line, I think. Anyway, we'll read the rules together in a moment or two's time. And then we'll have a go at trying to crack the puzzle. Now, what can I tell you about today? Let me look at my. Oh yes, I've got. This is going to be by far the best part of my day. I had a call with Mark earlier, and we were sort of going through our list of things that we needed to do in and around the channel. He said, "Oh, you've done your tax return, haven't you?" It's like, "Oh no, 31st of January. I have to do it by. I always leave it to the last minute. I often then forget, which tell me." Do not do that. And so anyway, that is going to have to be what I do for the rest of the day after I've solved this puzzle. So this is by far, I mean, solving puzzles is normally the best part of my day, but this definitely today will be the best part of my day. Anyway, what else? It's Thursday, so tomorrow there should be a crossword video. So if you do enjoy our cryptic crossword content, look out for that. I think I'm on duty to have a look at the times tomorrow. I know what I'll recommend. Yes. Oh, actually, there's a couple of things I'll recommend. This has been a pretty extraordinary week of puzzles, in fact. So definitely, if you haven't had a look, Killer Friends by Yornus. I think I did that on Tuesday. That is a fantastic puzzle. Purple Lines by Wiggle. I think I did that on Monday. That is a very, very good puzzle. No spoilers. And then yesterday, I did battle, and this took me a long time, with the latest Rat Run puzzle by Marty Sears, Copy Rat. This is a brilliant puzzle as well. So definitely, this week has been absolutely stellar. I'm sure it'll continue today, but do have a look at those puzzles too. And I'm going to mention something I very rarely mention on the channel, which is our apps. Now, we have a whole suite of apps, but one of the things we've been doing recently are these Sudoku worms, which are brilliant because they allow us to showcase a particular setter's puzzles. So you can see there's Marty Sears there, Michael Lefkowitz, you might know Michael as Juggler, Fistamafel, James Sinclair. Well, I can tell you that very soon we're going to have a Zeta worm being released. So I think Zetamath and Blobs are coming out, I'm hoping, in days rather than weeks. So if you do enjoy our app content, do have a look at those. Very, very good puzzles. You can see an example of a Fistamafel puzzle there. Yeah, and that's it's available on all the usual ways that you can get apps. I'm not very good at labeling those ways, but you know what I mean. I should be much more technologically able, shouldn't I? Given what I supposedly do for a living. Anyway, anything else? And I've got no birthdays to do today. It's most bizarre. I've got a whole load of birthdays to do tomorrow, but no birthdays to do today. So we will not be able to wish anybody happy birthday. If it is your birthday and you were expecting birthday wishes from me, then happy birthday. I'm very sorry, and I hope you have, of course, a heavily iced chocolate cake. But I think that's everything. I think we should move swiftly on. Let's have a look at the rules of Mosaic by Zetamath and friends. The rules are as follows. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. So we're going to have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. GW. Adjacent digits along a GW line must differ by at least 5. So GW stands for German whispers. If you're new to the channel, you might wonder why they're called GW lines. So if this cell was a 1, this would have to be at least 6 in order to be sufficiently different from the digit 1 to be 5 different from it at least. So it could be 6, 7, 8 or 9. ENT. Any set of 3 adjacent cells along an ENT line must contain a low digit, a 1, 2, or a 3, a middle digit, a 4, 5, or a 6, and a high digit, a 7, 8, or a 9. So imagine that that was a 7, 8, or a 9 digit. Then you would know immediately that one of these two adjacent digits, because in every set of 3 there has to be a low and a middly, one of these would be low, one of these would be middly. And actually you would also know, and I hope this doesn't count as solving, you would also know that that had to be a 7, 8, or a 9. I'll leave you to think about why that might be the case, in case you don't immediately know. Now, black dot. Cells separated by a black dot are in a 1:2 ratio, i.e. one will be double the other. Not all dots are necessarily given. So imagine this was a 2. This digit here would either be 4 because 4 is double 2, or it could be 1 because 2 is double 1. So you just have to maintain that doubling relationship across a black dot. Now, what does the business mean about not all dots are necessarily given? It means it's perfectly possible for those 2 cells to be in a ratio of 1:2, i.e. the 4 is obviously double the 2, so there could have been a black dot between those 2 cells, but there isn't. It doesn't matter that there isn't. We're not being told anything about any domino that doesn't have a black dot. We're just being told that those 2 definitely are in a 1:2 ratio, so it's perfectly possible for other 1:2 ratios to exist in the puzzle. Just because there is no black dot does not mean we can assume that the cells are not in a 1:2 ratio. White dot. Oh, there. I couldn't see one. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. Not all dots are necessarily given. Okay, so if this cell was a 2, this would either be a 1 or a 3 to be consecutive with 2. And the same rule applies. It's perfectly possible for those 2 cells to be consecutive. Just because there's no white dot, we don't care. 10 lines. Okay, so that's going to be that line, I think. The Stonehenge line is a 10 line. So digits along grey lines must be broken into 1 or more contiguous groups of cells that add to 10. Such groups cannot overlap. Digits may repeat within such sums if allowed by other rules. For example, 513173 is a valid fill for a length 6 line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on, that's not length 6, that's length 7. Oh, bobbins. All right, let's draw our own. Okay, and this has got a repeat on it as well. Let me just think about how I'm going to do this. I don't know if that's going to work, actually. I'm trying to make sure the ones are far enough apart. Is that going to work? It might not. But the line that we're intended to draw is 5, 1, 3. No, it's not right, is it? Okay, I'll make it go diagonally. That might fix things. 5, 1, 3, 1, 1, 7, 3. Okay. Now this is apparently a valid 10 line. Oh yeah, okay, that's quite a complicated 10 line because it can be broken up. These 2 cells, obviously 7 and 3 add up to 10, but 1, 3, 1, 5 also sum to 10, don't they? So we could split this length 6 line into 2 segments, each of which sum to 10. And just because there's a repeated digit on one of the segments, that's absolutely fine, providing you don't break the normal Sudoku rules. Let's see if I can delete everything I can. Right, now there's more rules. DW, that's going to be a Dutch whisper line. That's this one at least. Adjacent digits along a Dutch whispers line must differ by at least 4. So it's a slightly less stringent constraint than the GW line. So if this was a 1, this could be a 5. Just has to be at least 4 different. So it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. PAR, digits along a parity line alternate odd and even. So if this was odd, this would be even, this would be odd, this would be even, etc. And NAB must be a Nabner. No 2 digits along a Nabner line can be consecutive regardless of their position on the line. Okay, so I see they're in the same box. Often on a Nabner line, there is an explicit condition as well that digits can't repeat along a Nabner line, but that's not necessary here because you obviously couldn't repeat a digit on this line because it's entirely within box 9, and normal Sudoku rules cater for that. But imagine this was a 2. That would mean neither of these cells could be 1 nor 3, because obviously 1 and 3 are consecutive with 2, so they couldn't appear on the line. And let me just double check. I think that is all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I mean, this is going to be a solve replete with secrets, isn't it? Although, I mean, I say that. I actually don't know many secrets about... I know secrets about German whispers. I know sort of secrets about Dutch whispers and sort of secrets about entropy, but they're not very good secrets. I think the place where I know the best secrets are the German whispers lines, and I can see that's going to give me a so-called X-wing on 5s. So let's think about that immediately. Right, so focusing on any German whispers line, the first thing to note is that you can't put 5 on it. Why? Well, if you do put 5 on it anywhere, the point is that the next digit, the adjacent digit on the line, has to be at least 5 different from 5, and there is no Sudoku digit that meets that criteria. If you go up, you get to 10, 11, 12. You can't put those in Sudoku. If you go down, you get to 0 or lower, and you can't put those in Sudoku. So no 5s on the line. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that every single digit you put on a German whispers line either has the quality of being below 5 or above 5. And you may say, well, that's obvious. And it is obvious, I totally agree. But the point that you have to, or it's often helpful to realise, is that you can't put 2 of the same type of digit next to one another. So if this was a higher than 5 digit, this couldn't also be a higher than 5 digit, because these can't be made to be 5 apart. The furthest they could be apart is 3 if they were 6 and 9, and 3 is not as big as 5. So what happens along these whispers lines is they oscillate. And that's often important. I will actually, just because this is so long, I will also mention 4 and 6. 4 and 6 are quite difficult to put on German, certainly on straight German whispers lines, because if you do try and put a 4 on it, you can never put it in the middle of a line if the 2 cells on either side of the 4 are in the same Sudoku unit, so in the same row, column or box. Why? Because 4 only has one partner. We said 5 had no partners at all, so 5 just can't go on the line. Now 4 can go on the line, but only if it's next to 9. 9 is the only Sudoku digit that's sufficiently different from 4. And so if I did put the 4 here, I'd have to put 2 9s in the column, and obviously I can't do that from a Sudoku perspective. Now the other digit that has that quality is 6. 6 only has one partner, and that's the digit 1. So we're going to have to be careful in this column with 4s and 6s, although obviously we could have 4 and 6 off the line. Right. Well, okay, so let's just do 5s. Let's think about 5s first, because yeah, so in column 1, we know the 5 is in one of those 2 cells, don't we? And in column 9, we know the 5 is in one of these 2 cells. Now that is a classic X-wing. What's an X-wing? Well, it means that the disposition of 5s in the finished grid is either going to be with a 5 on that diagonal, because if I put a 5 here, I obviously can't put the 5 here in column 9, so I'm going to have to put it there. So the 5s are either going to be there in those 2 positions, or they're going to be in those 2 positions. And therefore, oh, Maverick's about to fly over. You can sort of see that as either on that wing of an X, or that, oh, terrible, 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 losing my army, or that limb of an X. And that's why it's called an X-wing, because the 2 digits that we're talking about will appear on one diagonal of an X. Sorry, there's a bit of an aeroplane noise as Maverick flies past my window. Hello, Maverick. Now, what does an X-wing mean? Well, what it means is, although it was a restriction that originally arose from the columns, i.e. we said that 5 was restricted in the columns, it has an effect on the rows. So these digits here, we can now say with certainty none of these green shaded cells can contain a 5. And hopefully that's obvious, but one way to think about that, if you're not sure about why that seems to be the case, and this is a general point for X-wings, it's very, very clear when we've got sort of this going on in the 4 corners of the grid. But X-wings can arise in, we could have X-wings in that position, and then it would still have the effect on those 3 cells and these as well. The point is to think about how many 5s you're expecting there to be in row 1. Now it's a Sudoku, so there's going to be 1 5 altogether in row 1. There's going to be 1 5 altogether in row 9. So that's 2. So these 2 rows we've just agreed contain 2 5s. Did I say 5s? I hope I said 5s and not 1s. But anyway, I meant to say there's going to be one 5 in that row, 1 5 in that row. So that's 2 5s altogether. But we've just said that these turquoise, actually, how should we describe them? Dark blue. These dark blue cells, these 4 dark blue shaded cells contain 2 5s. Definitely. So we can't put any more 5s than those that belong to the dark blue squares in rows 1 and 9. If we did, there would be at least 3 5s in 2 rows, and we will break Sudoku. So that's a very, 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 very long-winded way of saying, hang on, I want to leave that in, I think. I'll get rid of the green. What it means is that these entropic lines, neither of those contain a 5, which is of no use nor ornament. Okay, sorry. No, is it? So it's 4s and 6s as well, is it? Is that what we have to do? Let me just think about this. Yeah, okay. It is, isn't it? Yeah, we are going to have to go a bit further than I've gone here. So I've talked about 5s. I talked a bit about 4s and 6s being difficult on green lines, but actually, let's do oscillation first, because along this green line, what we said was whatever the polarity of this is, this cell here, vis-a-vis 5, it's either above 5 or below 5, and then every other cell along that line will have that property. So those 4 digits there are either a set of the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, or they're a set of the digits 6, 7, 8 and 9, and I don't know what they are. But the corollary of that is that these 3 cells are going to be of the opposite polarity. But crucially, these 3 purple cells, none of those can be 4 or 6, can they? It's impossible. So if the red digits were, let's say they were 1, 2, 3, 4, these digits would be high polarity by oscillation, but none could be 6 because a 6 would be surrounded by 2 1s. And that would mean that in this column, the digits 5 and 6 would be in these cells. Now, the opposite situation works exactly the same way. i.e., if instead red is high, these digits have to be low, but they can't be 4 because 4 would be surrounded on both sides by double 9. So these digits now are 4 and 5. Now what that means is that the corners are actually therefore from 4, 5 and 6. And that does have an effect on the entropic lines. This is very clever, actually. Now I'm going to have to share the secrets of entropic lines. This isn't a very good secret, and I almost did it when we were doing the instructions. But the point is that this digit here, whatever its flavour is regarding entropy, it's either a 1, 2, 3, a 4, 5, 6, or a 7, 8, 9. Let's just say it's a 7, 8, 9. The point is that therefore neither of these cells now can be a 7, 8, 9 entropy digit. But if we look at those three cells, that's a run of 3 digits along the entropy line. There must be a 7, 8, 9 in that threesome. That must therefore be there. So you get a repetition every time for every set of 3 cells. This digit will then repeat again. Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is if we were to shade this top line, those two would have the same entropy, those two would have the same entropy, and this one would have different entropy. There's that. So imagine we're thinking about the digits, the middly digits in row 1, 4s, 5s, and 6s. Imagine they were purple. Well, then there would be 2 of them. Well, they can't be. That's impossible. There would now be 4 instances of the digits 4, 5, and 6. And there are only 3 of those in row 1. Can't do it. Same with green. Can't do it. So that digit has to be 4, 5, or 6, but we know it's not 5 because of the X-wing. So that is 4 or 6. But that logic applies equally well in row 9, doesn't it? So that is 4 or 6. And that is a very, very pretty way of getting a 4-6 pair in column 5. Now we're going to have a look at the black dot. It's very smooth, this. Because the black dot, there are some secrets about black dots. Didn't think we were going to talk about those, but we are. First secret of black dots. Because you need one digit on the dot to be double the other, there are some Sudoku digits you just can't use. 5s, 7s, and 9s. Why are 5s, 7s, and 9s difficult? Well, because 5, if you halve it, you get 2.5. That's not an integer. If you double it, you get 10. That's not a Sudoku number. The same is true of 7, 3.5, and 14. Same is true of 9, 4.5, and 18. They just don't work. So the pairings you can put on black dots that are valid are a 1-2 pair, a 2-4 pair, a 3-6 pair, and a 4-8 pair. Now, a 4-6 pair in the column actually rules out all of those except for a 1-2 pair. Okay, and all right, now I can see 2 things we could do here, but I'm going to take the parity. I'm going to use parity first. Let's look at the white dot. Now, I only know one secret about white dots, and it's truly fatuous, but I'm going to share it with you. A white dot contains a consecutive pair of digits. Now, a consecutive pair of digits is always going to include one even number and one odd number. And again, I appreciate many times in this video so far I've said things that are totally obvious if you think about them. But why is that interesting in this column? Well, there are only 4 even Sudoku digits, 2, 4, 6, and 8. On this white dot I can't put 2, I can't put 4 or 6, so there is definitely an 8 on there with a 7 or a 9 to be consecutive with it. So that feels like it's deliberate. So these are definitely odd digits, and they're not 1. So they're 3, 5, 7, or 9. Yeah, this is good. Right, okay. Now, look at the parity line. It's a beautiful idea, this puzzle, isn't it? It's so smooth. This parity line has to oscillate parity. I've just proved this is odd. So that is odd. And that is odd. I'll just put all the odd numbers in, and then we can see if we can whittle them down. No. No, it seems. Is that really the answer? Okay, no, I don't think I can. All right, so these must be even. Let's put those in and see if we can... I can whittle that one down. That's got a 2 in its box. Oh, right, so that's not actually gone quite as well as I was hoping. All right, let's do the Dutch whisper then, because we have got, look, a very low digit. Now, Dutch whispers they have an awkward secret about them. They are difficult creatures, Dutch whispers. This beautiful oscillation of polarity that we found along German whispers, and the fact we couldn't put 5 on them, that doesn't exist on a Dutch whisper line. You can put 5 on them, because a digit 4 away from 5 could be a 1 or a 9. And you can even, therefore, put 5 in the middle of the line and thereby change the way it oscillates. But what is true is that this is a relatively high digit. It's at least a 5. I mean, do I do that? Can I prove that's not 5 and at least make it? I mean, I've got those two. They've got 5 digits in them. I mean, I don't like putting 5 digits in a cell if I can possibly avoid it. And then the fact this could be 5 means this could be 1 again. So it could go 1, 5, 1. I'm sorry. Okay, I can't actually see how to do that then. Okay. All right, here's a different point, because I can't see how to do anything with that one. Any run of 3 digits on an entropic line needs to have a low digit. Now, what low digit are we going to put in one of those? This is middly, so one of these has to be a low digit, and it can't be a 1 or a 2, so one of those must be a 3. And that seems to also do nothing. Okay, yeah, sorry, I don't see how to do that. It's not quite as good in box 8. One of those does have to be a high digit. So one of these is, it can't be 8, I suppose, but one of those is a 7 or a 9. Which is, well, what that is going to do is it's going to make the tens line constrained. Actually, that's very clever. Not of me, but that's very clever of zetamath and friends. Right. I don't know what this is doing, but it's doing something interesting, because well, yeah, it's doing something very interesting. Yeah, okay, let's just concentrate on a domino just for a moment along this tens line at the bottom. So this thing or this thing. And consider whether or not it's possible to make a domino on the bottom of the Stonehenge which sums to 10, either this domino or this domino. And the answer actually is no now, because pairs that sum to 10, 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6. 4, 6 is ruled out by this rather beautiful 4, 6 pencil mark on the entropy line. So we can't do 4, 6. And I know that the other high digits, the 7, the 8 and the 9, are hypothecated to those 4 cells. I don't know where they go. I don't know where the one that's 7 and 9 is on this entropy line. I just know it's in one of them. So we can't do a 3, 7, 2, 8 or 1, 9 pair here. Now what that means is that the length of the 10 sum that begins in this cell is at least 3 cells. And the length of the 10 sum that begins in this cell is also at least 3 cells. But that's really cool. No, I know I'm not a cool man. It has been drummed into me over the years. But it is cool, logically, because now, is it possible both of these are 3 cells? No, because this can't be a 10 on its own. So one of these, either yellow or red, has to spill over and collect within it this one. Which means the way this line breaks is into a... This has to be a 3. It breaks into a 4-cell 10 sum and a 3-cell 10 sum. But the rather lovely thing is, let's look at the minimum sum of one of these Stonehenge legs. I mean, we could make them 1, 2 and 3 minimum, couldn't we? That sums to 6. So this digit cannot be as big as 5, because whether it's being added to a 1, 2, 3 in yellow as a minimum, or a 1, 2, 3 in red as a minimum, it would break the 10 barrier. It would be too high to be a 4-minute mile, wouldn't it? So that's what we need to do, therefore, is to make this a 3, and therefore we know that actually it's not a 1, 2, 3 triple that we're looking for here. It's going to be a 1, 2, 4 triple adding up to 7. There's only one way of making 7 in 3 different Sudoku digits, and that is 1, 2, and 4. Now, I don't know which way round this goes. There probably is a way to tell, isn't there? It's going to... Oh, it would be very difficult. It would be very difficult. I bet there's a reason it can't go here because of the Dutch whisper. I can't see what that is, but I just feel like that's probably the case. Yeah, that's right. Okay, golly gosh, this is my favourite part of the puzzle. I really liked getting that 4-6 pair. That's beautiful. But the way that the fact one of those is high interacts with the possibility of dominoed 10 sums is absolutely gorgeous. It really is. Now, and this has a profound effect now, because let's just consider whether this could be the 1, 2, 4 triple, i.e. it's being added to the 3 to make a 4-cell 10 sum. It can't work, but it's a bit difficult. Well, it's not easy to see. The reason it's going to fail is here. In fact, I tell you what, it is totally legitimate to remove the 3 from these cells, and that one, in fact, because this is always 3. Okay, and that makes it a bit clearer. I want to look at this domino now, and I want to think about how it's going to be constituted on a Dutch whispers line. This domino cannot have a 1, 2, 3 or a 4 in it. Now that would be curtains if this was a German whispers line, because we know every domino must contain a digit that's lower than 5. But on a Dutch whispers line, you can get away with a 5 if you pair it with a 9. But look at these cells now. There's only 3 different digits we could put into 4 different cells. It's not going to work. And there's nothing else you can partner the 5 with that's going to help you with that problem. So this side is not 1, 2, 4. So this side is 1, 2, 4, and that is yellow, therefore. And those add up to 10. I was going to say without using 3, but that might be wrong. I don't know. I can't work that out. But we've definitely got a 1, 2, 4 triple here. So this is not 2 or 4. This is not 1. That's not 4. I've got a 6, 8 pair in the column now. I've got a 5, 7, 9 triple in the box. Now, so this digit it's either low. Yeah, it's low, isn't it, actually? Sorry, yeah, this is pretty obvious. This is a great big old digit. The lowest this can be is 5. So the question is, if this was 5, that would just allow this to be a 9, but that's been ruled out now by this 5, 7, 9 triple. So if this is 5, actually this digit would still be a 1, 2, 3, or well, it would be a 1 in that particular instance. But that means that this digit is always low. It's actually not 3 because of this. So it's 1, 2, or 4 to be at least 4 different from this digit. 9 could have gone with 5 as well, but that's ruled out. I'm so bad, Dutch whispers. But now, this digit, which also can't be 5, therefore has to be a high digit. So that's got to be a 6 or an 8, which is the same as this digit, because it can't be 5, 7, or 9. So this digit is 1, 2, or 4 as well. I've got sort of a 1, 2, 4 triple in the box, a 5, 7, 9 triple, and a 6, 8 pair. And then let's just continue to work our way down the Dutch whispers line. Yeah, okay, so this digit again has to be low. It can't be as high as 5. It will not work. It could be 4 if this is a 4-8 pair. And then if we go up the ski lift here, we can sort of go up the T-bar. Then we have to go, that could be a 5 probably. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's another dreadful pencil mark. Sorry about that. I suspect it's this red thing that we're going to have to look at. But let's dispatch with yellow. We don't need yellow now. We don't need that grey. In fact, no, that's grey on grey. I'm not going to make that. I'll leave this as red. And, I'm trying to see what to do. I'm failing, aren't I? Wow, I don't see what to do at all. Do I know what this is? I know it's 3 digits, summing to 10, but you can do that without a 1 if it's 2, 3, 5. I can't see why that's in. I mean, it would be tricky for it to be 2, 3, 5. This would have to be 2. This would have to be a 3, 5 pair. That would make this a 3, apparently. But that doesn't look impossible. Or it could be a 1. If this is a 1... Oh, I see. No. Right. I'm going to ask a totally different question. I've put a middly digit on this entropy line. So neither of those are middly. Now, I could have 1 middly here, but I must have 1 middly here. And that middly is going to have to be 5, isn't it? I've not put 5 in this box. So there's definitely a 5 there. I'm not saying there isn't a 4, actually. It could be 5, 4, 1. If 5, 4, this was a 1, 2 pair. Yeah, that might work. But there is a 5. Right, which means this is not a 5. Oh, bobbins, I don't know. Okay. But that has helped, hasn't it? Because now what we should do... What we can't do on red is to add a 6. So in terms of middly digits and box 8, you can't put 6 on the line now. You can't... I mean, 6 has to go in with those 3 cells, but it's a middly digit, so it must go in the middle. So that's 6, that's 4. Now, that presumably is going to do something with the corners. The weird thing is it could still be either way round, actually. So I still don't... Ah. Oh, I know that's high, which does... So that's high, that's high. So that must be... Yeah, okay. The way to do this is to look at row 6. Now, this is a bit subtle, but look at this domino. Now, what did we say about German whispers lines? We are having to avail ourselves of all the secrets. We said they oscillate polarity, didn't we? So in a domino on a German whispers line, 1 digit will be lower than 5, 1 digit will be higher than 5. Now, I don't know. I will be able to work it out, but I know. So one of these digits is a 1, 2, 3, or 4, but not a 3. So it's a 1, 2, or a 4. Which means in this row, we've had all our low digits. If we look at that domino, that cell, and that cell. And that cell, obviously. There are no more low digits to go. So this digit must be a high digit. Now, we can see it can't be 6, so it's 7, 8, or 9, but that's going to give us... We now know it's these ones on this line that are the high digits, because we oscillate. So these ones are 6, 7, 8 or 9. That can't be 6 because it's in the middle of the line. But now, this can't be a 6 at the top. We've got our 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple on the line. So that's got to be 5. That's got to be 6. We complete the X-wing and we write 4 in here. Now, right, so let's just keep using that logic. So now we can oscillate. We know these digits are 1, 2 and 3 in this column. This digit is high. We know in this column that there is a 6, and I don't know where it is, but it's either at the top or the bottom. And it's going to have a 1 next to it because 1 is the only digit that can go next to 6 on the line. So this central digit is not a 1. And for the same... Yeah, for the same reason, this is a weird point, that can't be a 6. Because if that was a 6, this would be a 1. But we know that the 1 in the column is next to the 6, so this would be a 6 as well. So we get 2 6s in the box. That is very peculiar. Okay, but I'm sure, well, we can now do the same thing in column 1. Because we now know that the 4 digits that are in these positions in column 1 are in fact now the low digits. Because they couldn't be 6, 7, 8 and 9 because the 6 is already here. So these digits are 7, 8 and 9. We can't put 4 in the middle of the line because it would be surrounded by double 9. We know 4 is at the end of the line, so it's going to have a 9 on the inside of it. So this central digit is not a 9. Oh, it's so... Well, no, that's good. Okay, that is a 6, 8 pair. So that is a 7. Right, so that's a 7. 7 can never go next to 3 on a whispers line. Don't worry. If you're saying, how does he see that relatively quickly? The only reason is I've done a lot of these puzzles before. Oh, right, sorry. I just had to take a call, and that has been a long call. I've just been sitting here, and hopefully my brain has now solved the entire puzzle by some sort of osmosis. What on earth were we doing? We were putting in 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s in column 1. Why were we... Oh, because we got a 1, 2 pair. Yeah, okay. That can't be 1 or 2 either. At least if you get interrupted, it's very good if you can just do things when you come back. I can pencil mark that cell as well. Is that worth it? If that's 3 or 4, that can't be... actually, that can't be... What if that was 3 and it was a 4 difference? That could be a 7, I think. That can't be 5 or 6. So, that is good. Well, actually, no, there's something Sudoku-y going on here. That can't be 6 either. But this can't be 7 because of this 7. That can't be 7. There's a 7 in this 5, 7, 9 triple. So there's got to be a 7 in one of those. So that's not a 7. Now I've got an 8, 9 pair in row 4. This is good news, to be honest, for me, because I hate getting interrupted because I can never recollect what I was doing. But actually, it appears we got interrupted at a place where I could sort of see what was going on. Yeah, sorry, this is 3 or 4. So that can't be 6, can it? If that's 6, again, it would be too close to that digit, even on Dutch Whisper. So that's got to be 8. That's got to be 6. That's got to be 8. That's got to be 9. That's got to be 8. I've got an 8 pencil mark there, so we can do an 8 there. That's not an 8. Got a 7, 9 pair in row 7. Yeah, and this can't be 4 now, because let's go back to German Whispers rules. If this was 4, 4 and 8 are only 4 apart. So that's got to be 3. That's got to be 4. That's not 9 anymore. Right, that might do something. If this is 6 or 7, that can't be 4. So this is 1 or 2. This is 5, 7. This is not 8 because we've got an 8, 9 pair in the row. What have we got actually in this row? We've got loads of real estate. That can't be 2. There's a 1, 2 pair. So it's 3, 4, 6 into this row. 3, 4, 6. Let's just quickly pencil mark it. Now, what about that one? No. What about that one? No. Where's 4? In, oh, good. Oh, okay, no, that's a relief. I was about to say, has that been available for like a month? But no, I think it's only emerged since I got this 4 here. So that's good. So that gets me a 6 here. So I don't feel too, I've got a 3, 4 pair now here. Is that somehow stopping this from being... Well, it stops it from being a 3. But it could still be a 1 or a 2, couldn't it? And then that would have to be a low digit, which would have to be a 3. I don't know, that might be fine. Where is 5 in box 2 is a very interesting, sensible question. That's been available, I think. I think that's been available since before I got my phone call, because I've got a 5 pencil marked down here on this red thing. How did we know that had a 5 on it back in the day? What was the logic there? I can't remember, you see. Oh, is it just where's 5 in this box, is it? That's probably what it was. Okay, so there is a 5, and then there's 2 more digits that add up to 5. So surely I can do that. Hang on. There's a virtual 1, 2 pair in this column now, because 3... Oh, that was a weird... I hope that's not just broken the recording. There was a weird flashing on my computer. Is everything all right? I hope it's okay. I hope that hasn't just kiboshed whatever was going on. But this 3-cell sequence must include a 1 or a 2, mustn't it? Because if it didn't, how could it add up to 10? It would be a minimum of 3 plus 4 plus 5. That's 12. That's too many. So there's definitely a 1 or a 2 in this sequence. There can't be a 1 and a 2. Well, in fact, because there's 5 in the sequence, it's either 5, 1, 4 or 5, 2, 3. So there's definitely a 1 or a 2, which means these 4 digits contain the 1 and the 2 in column 4. Which means that I want to say, this might be wrong, it must be something to do with the... Can you have low... Yeah, okay, it's to do with 3s, I think, because what we can't do now... Is there actually a 3 X-wing? Is that the point? This might not be true. But I feel like it is. Yeah. Okay, right. The way to explain... I think there might be other ways to explain this, but here's a way to explain it. In this column... Oh, in fact, I know what that digit is. That's an exciting thing. But that wasn't what I was noticing about this column. In this column, these 2 digits here can't both be low. It's impossible. In fact, now it's actually clear what they are. They are a 3 and a 9. Right, that's perfect. That's all we needed. So one of these is definitely high. One of them is definitely low. I don't know which way round they go, but on the one that has a 9, in either this position or this position, what digit are we going to put on the entropic line that's in its box? So if this was 9, what would this digit be? It's got to be low entropy, but it's not allowed to be 1 or 2 because of these cells. So it is a 3. So if this is 9, this is 3. If this is 9, this is 3. And the beautiful thing about that, this is a weird and beautiful point, is that red now, because there is a 3 here or here in column 4, this line is not 2, 3, 5. It's impossible. So this is 5, 1, 4, and that is not a 2. So this is 1, 4, 1, 4, 5. That is a beautiful piece of logic, actually, by Zeta and friends. So this is now a 2. I wanted to make that a 1. I don't know why. That's absolute nonsense, isn't it? Although that is a 1 and that is a 2. So now I've got a 1, 4 pair in row 6. I don't know what that does. I've got a 9 there, so this is a 7. I've got a 9 there, so this is not a 9. Right, in box 8, 1, 2, 4, and 5. Where are 3 and 9? Let's just ask that question. They have to be on the line. So they're in those positions. And 9 is on the Nabner, which means 8. Oh, 8 can't be on the Nabner anyway. Oh, bother. So this Nabner has not yielded any secrets to us yet. But that digit can't be 6 because it's got to be 5 different from 2. It can't be 7, so that is an 8 or a 9. So now I've got an 8-9 pair here. That is not a 9, and that places my 9 on the Nabner. Now, what else do we need in this box, though? No, 5 and 6. So that's 6. That's 5. Which means that 5 is in one of these two cells in row 6. Okay. Well, okay, so what do we do next, do you think? That is the question. I don't know. 1 is in one of those two cells in row 5. There must be some way. I know the ordering of... I've got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. Oh, okay, where's 5 in row 3? That is a legitimate question. That seems to be placed. That's probably not going to be the most brilliant thing ever, though, is it? So in this row, I do need 1s, 2s, 3s, 6s, and 7s. 1, 2, 3, and 7 into there. So, okay, yeah, that's a weird point, but 6 is placed in row 3. It's got to be there. That doesn't put... No, it doesn't put any pressure on anything, does it? So what have I got to put into box 2? 3, 7, and 9. Oh dear. I've got a bad feeling that's not going to be resolved. I definitely know there's a 7 up there for what that's worth, but it's probably not very much. 8 is nearly restricted, you know, in box 1, but it's got to be in one of 2 places. Wow, okay, no, I'm still stuck. Let's try... No, what I was about to say is not true, so I refuse to say it. Do not enunciate silly thoughts, Simon. They will not avail you. I've got no clue. Do I know what? Can that be 3? If it was 4, it would be 4 apart. No, that's fine, isn't it? Can that be under any pressure? I think that's okay. The thing about zetamath puzzles as well is that when you do get stuck, you know it's your fault, as in my fault, because it's never normally overly brutal. It's always fair. You just have to have the right thought. And when you have the right thought, you go, oh, yeah, that was my fault. I didn't have that thought. No, that's not a good question. Oh, it's nearly a good question. Where's 7 in box 7 was my question. But actually, I think it's got quite a lot of places it could go. What about the bottom row? What do we need? 1s, 2s, 7s, and 8s. So, is there any point pencil marking them? The thing is, I've got nothing in the columns that looks, well, I suppose I've got an 8 in that one. So that can't be 8. So that digit there is 1, 2, or 7. And that is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. I have got, okay, let's maybe look at column 3 then. Where also I've got 1, that's a 1 or a 2. Is that the sort of point that we're looking for? Because that sees 7 and 8 in the row, so that is 1 or 2 only. Oh, it's so close to being good. That is so close to being good. But I don't think it is it? I don't think it's quite enough. I definitely know there's a 2 in there, but if I knew it was this one, I'd have a lovely 1, 2, 3 triple in row 7. Bobbins. Okay. It's not 6. Oh, I have got loads of 6s in the grid, I've got far more 6s than I had any right to. So 6 is in one of those 2. Does that affect the Nabner? If it was on the Nabner, this couldn't be 7. That would be a 1-2 pair in the box. But if it's there, then do we care very much? 4. Oh. Okay. Well, that's quite good. It doesn't do anything, but 4 and 6 are in the same cells of box 7. So this is a 1, 2, or a 7. I only have to get it slightly more reduced, and we're in business. So 7 is definitely in one of these 2 cells. Can we do any trickery with Nabnerisms? Only if this is a 7 do we get a restriction. Then that has to be 4. But in the row, we know 8 is now over here, which we've known forever. I just didn't pencil mark it. So if that's 8, that's 9. That's 3. This is 1 or 2. Is there a reason this can't be 7, 8, do you think? It appears I don't think clearly enough to rule that out. What about... No, that's a bad question again. Naughty bad questions. Oh dear. Okay. 4? No, that's another fool's errand. Every time I think I've spotted something, it just all goes the wrong way. Okay. Is it going to be... All right, it's probably a line that... Or it could even be yes, it could even be a pencil mark. I'm now noticing that this has become... Yeah, in fact, that's it. That's bizarre. Wow. Okay, so at some point I got an 8 here, which took 8 out of this cell, reducing it to 6 or 7. And the point is now this can't be 3. It would be too close to it. And ordinarily, that tiny adjustment wouldn't matter terribly much. But look at row 7 now. I've now got a 1-2 pair. So that's 4. And that's 1, and that's 4. So this is 2. It is a fantastic puzzle, this. Now, oh yeah, now I got 4 on the Nabner. I wanted the 6 on it. Okay, but now this is 5 and this is 1. So we've done this red section now, and we should be able to get that digit. That's a 3. I've not put 3 in the row. And there, no, quickly in this puzzle we established there were no 3s in the corner, didn't we? Now, oh no, that doesn't do it. I thought that was going to disambiguate the 8 and 9, but no. Okay, but we're still better. We're doing better than we were a moment ago, and for that I am grateful. Now, what about these cells? 5, 6. There are 5, 6, 7 triple. Oh, now that is good, because how could you put 6 on this Nabner? You'd be accompanying it with 5 or 7, and that's not a very good thing to do because they're meant to be non-consecutive. So that's 5, 7. This is 6. Now that's going to do things on the whisper. 6 can only go next to 1 on the whisper, so we get a little bit of bonus thingies there. So that can't be 6 at the top now. We should know these two, shouldn't we? Are they 2 and 8? I think so. How can this not be resolved? Is this done? No. Oh, 5 and 7 can't. So that's what does it. The bottom of this puzzle gets sorted by this, because when we make this not able to be 8 anymore, because it would be consecutive with 7 on the Nabner, make it 2, we get this being 8, and now that tells us by entropy that's 9, that's 3, so that's got to be 1, that's got to be 7, and the whole of the bottom row gets finished. Now that is no longer 7, which places 7 in row 3, places 7 and 5, that places 5 in this box as well. So I think this is a naked single 9. And that means that's 8, that's 9, that's 7 now. That can't go next to 3 on a German whisper. So now we get a little bit more. This is an 8. Is this giving up? Finally, is it giving up? Come on, give up. This is a... Ooh, what do we need in this column? Is it a 1, 2, 3? I think it is. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these squares have got to be 7 and 8. That looks good from a Sudoku perspective. I can't see how to... Oh, well, okay, but if that's 7 or 8, that's high entropy then. So that's got to be 9. That's 3. So this is 7. That does the 7 and the 8. This is now not 3. This has got to be low entropy, so it's 1 or 2. Seems to be able to be either. But in the row, we've not put 8 in, so I will enjoy doing that. This is a 3. This is a 1. This is a 2, this is a 1, 2, 2, 1, 3, and if we haven't made a ricket, 1 and 6. That is a brilliant puzzle. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. I wish I hadn't got... Well, actually, I'm not so fussed I got interrupted, because when I came back, I could see something to do straight away that was pretty obvious. But... what I thought was incredibly clever, there was all this stuff around this 10 line that was beautiful. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? It was this being a 4 or a 6, and this dot forcing, and one of those being high, meaning both of those dominoes couldn't sustain a 10 sum and had to get longer. And then the pinching at the top, forcing that to be something. And then there was that lovely point later where I was able to work out that sort of 1 and 2 had been hypothecated to these 4 cells in column 4, and yet one of these digits needed to be low entropy and would therefore be 3. And that was important. Yeah, that was important because it determined red. Yeah, that is quality. Is it correct? Yes, it is correct. Absolutely fantastic puzzle. Mosaic. Thank you very much to zetamath as always, and friends. Loved it. Brilliant, brilliant puzzle. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.